Hello everyone, Richard here at Calvin Wazoo with another video for you. And in this one, I am going to be showing some records that I picked up at another store while I was on a trip. Actually, it was a work trip in Missouri a couple of weeks ago. Also, in this video, I will run down the list of names that I am aware of who have entered my contest, which I announced on July 9th, celebrating my birthday as well as achieving 1,000 subscribers to this channel. Thank you all very much for that. And so I'll have that at the end, and the contest deadline is going to be this Saturday. So I may announce the winner either potentially Sunday or Monday, shortly thereafter. But entries will need to be in by the end of the day, Saturday Central Time. And so if you are planning on entering, and, obviously I will not read your name, but if I miss your name and you have created a video and posted it before today, August 3rd, at the time of this recording, and I did not list your name, then please leave a comment in the down under, or send me some type of message to let me know so I can find that. It's happened to me before where I missed somebody, and I really regret that and feel badly about it. And I still think that person, although they never said anything, I kind of still think they hold a grudge against me because I missed their name and did not include them in the drawing for that contest. But, I try and do my best. And I know, how it works, because there are a couple contests that when the person who was hosting the contest read all the names of the people who participated, my name was not included, even though I had submitted a video and notified them. So, karma perhaps. Anyway, let's get on with showing records, because that's what it's all about, right? Spending all our money on records. So yeah, I was in Columbia and Jefferson City, Missouri. In my other video, I showed the records that I found at this little shop, the In Groove in Jefferson City. Now in Columbia, there's this record shop called Hitt Records, or Hitt Recs perhaps. And Columbia, Missouri is, big college town. University of Missouri is there. It's a pretty nice store. I should probably think about actually making videos inside the stores, but I never really do think about it. I just get there and I start going through stuff. And but anyway, there's one record that I did buy, and I'm not going to do a needle drop for it because this is a well-known record, I think, and I don't really see a point in doing a needle drop. But I finally have this in my collection. All right, so this is Judas Priest, and the release is Screaming for Vengeance. I believe, to the best of my investigation and Discogs, this is a first pressing. Ooh, we got some thunder outside. It's also got the insert here, where you can order paraphernalia, merch order form in there. Very nice. Everything's in really super excellent condition. It's definitely a VG plus, potentially even near mint. And I tell you, I like this album in particular. And of course, You've Got Another Thing Coming was the big song, which was apparently an afterthought. They had this album all recorded and they had room for another song. So they just put together you've got another thing coming, and that's how it got on the record. And it's such a simple song, but what a hook. You know, it's just, yeah, that you got the bass and then the other guitar, you know, going to, and then those simple chords, dun, 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 you know, and that's it. That's the song, you know, and it's brilliant. It's just really brilliant. So, yes, I got Judas Priest in my collection now. Now, the other ones, I will have some needle drops for you. And these records were pretty pricey, but this store also tends to have a pretty good section of, you know, for lack of a better term, world music, international music, music from other areas of the world, other than, you know, Great Britain and the United States. You know, they get a lot more variety, and this really caught my eye. This is a compilation, fairly new one. I got to, I don't know when this was released. Shoot, I should have looked that up. But anyway, this is part of a series. I believe there's 2 volumes. I have volume 1. This is Japanese Jazz Spectacle, Deep, Heavy, and Beautiful Jazz from Japan. This covers the years 1968 to 1984. It's on the Nippon Columbia Masters series. So kind of a fake obi, you know, so it doesn't have an obi. Then it's got the description of the different tracks, both in English and in Japanese. Images of the records that these tracks are taken from, and all really great stuff on here. It is amazing. Only 1 or 2 of the artists was I already familiar with, and one of them is actually the album that is mentioned in here. It's Hiroshi Suzuki, and the record or album release is called Cat. And they have a track from there called Romance that that record is on my want list, has been for a while. But anyway, you can go ahead and get a listen from this. And actually the one that I am going to play for you is a song by Masahiko Sato. And the song is called Tochi mo Kurumi mo Fukyotose. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Mispronouncing my Japanese is not all that great. And it's a song from 1977. So yeah, I'll give a listen to Masahiko Sato. Really nice stuff. The whole album is really good, sounds really excellent. Now, oh, and by the way, you know, you can see the label here and the images of the label, you know, slight variants. you know, with the coloration. It's 180 gram, but, you know, big deal. That doesn't, you know, 180 gram feels nice, you know, but the bottom line is it really doesn't make the quality of the sound any better. Then the next one, as I mentioned, this store often has quite a selection of anime, and I collect anime. And this is the soundtrack to The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, which is a Studio Ghibli release. The obi, very beautiful. That part of the reason, well, I would say it's the primary reason that I collect anime soundtracks is because of the beautiful album artwork. Just really amazing artwork all the way around. And, you know, even with the inner sleeves that we get some really beautiful images from the film. All right. The storyline is essentially this princess, well, is found. She appears in a water lily or lotus flower, and this peasant brings her back to his village. She grows up to be a princess. She, you know, everybody falls, all the men fall in love with her, want to marry her, but her time on Earth is limited. And it's got really, again, pull out some of the labels, very nice artwork on the labels. Each label for each side, a little different. Just really, really beautiful stuff. And of course, exceptional sound. And this is a true soundtrack, and it's not like a soundtrack, you know, that has a bunch of songs that were played, you know, maybe only a few parts of the song were played in the film, and then, you know, the soundtrack has the entire song on it or something like that. No, there are like tracks on here that are only 10 seconds long, and others that may be only a minute and a half long. It is the soundtrack, the musical score that accompanies the film. So whether the music is being used to create atmosphere, sound effects, or something like that, that's in this soundtrack. So, so it's not really a score, all right? There are scores, which are the compositions in their entirety that were created for a film. But this is a true soundtrack in that it's got all the musical elements that go with the film. And so I'll play a little bit for you so you can get an idea of the music. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Just, you know, this is an enjoyable listen. This is a record that I liked because of the artwork, but also because of the music. Now, because I recently watched a series on, it was Apple TV, and it was, the title was something like The Year 1971, or 1971, the year music changed everything. And I had been familiar with Gil Scott-Heron, and so he's been on my shopping list, and so I saw that they had this. They had a couple others, but they were in kind of rough shape. This one is in really, really good shape. So good, in fact. Let me tell you a little story about the shape of this record. All right, so this is a first pressing of this record, I believe, on the Arista label, all right? And we're talking about a record that was released in 1975, and it's a gatefold. It was still in the shrink, all right? So the shrink had only been sliced along the side here so that you could get the record out and play the record, but it was not removed. So when I got this, I was the first person to open the gatefold, all right? Now, I'm pretty confident this was original shrink wrap, all right? Because it was discolored a little bit, it was brittle, it had shrunk, you know, so it was tearing apart in some places because it was continuing to shrink, all right? And so when I got it home, I pulled the shrink wrap off because it can actually cause damage to the cover, leaving it on. And in fact, it did, because it had never been opened before. When I went to open the gatefold, the shrink wrap had caused this corner to stick to this side of the gatefold. So when I opened it, you can see it pulled. It's, you know, it stuck. All right. And so when I pulled it, it ripped it off. So certainly can't call this near mint anymore. But of course, you know, even though it had the shrink wrap, I mean, it's got bumps and everything because it's a record that people played. They just never removed the shrink from it. And that is, you know, what happens with shrink wrap when you don't remove it from the record. I know people will pay more money for something that's in the shrink, but number one, you know, if it's an old record and it's the original shrink, then that shrink wrap is brittle, it will be discolored, and it will be, you know, breaking apart, and also it will affect the cleanliness, so to speak, of the cover. And whereas a newer record, you know, the shrink wrap is still a little bit pliable, but still, I try to rip them off as soon as I can remember them. Back to the record. This has the famous hit Johannesburg on it. But what is interesting about this record, as you can see, it says from South Africa to South Carolina. So side one is focused on South Africa with the song Johannesburg. Have you heard the word in Johannesburg? Side two is about South Carolina. So this record is comparing, juxtaposing what life was like in 1975 in South Africa during apartheid, and it was also providing a comparison with life in South Carolina in 1975. And so the needle drop I'm going to play for you is the song from side two called South Carolina.
Sun
really happy this is now in my collection. There are still some other Gil Scott-Heron I want to pick up, particularly the release that has the song "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised," which was featured in that Apple series, Apple Video or whatever, from Apple TV about 1971. All right, and then the final record that I got from this store in Columbia, this is a reissue of Dead Can Dance, their debut record, which, you know, in Discogs is pretty pricey if you want to get an original. So it was nice to get a this particular reissue, which, you know, again, I probably should look this stuff up before, but this is a, let's see, the original recording was 1984. This is a 2016 reissue. I'm not exactly sure on the audio quality of this particular pressing. My initial reaction is I'm questioning it. I probably would like to listen to, you know, other pressings of this record to see if this is in fact a superior pressing. I don't think it is, though. But it is a great record. They, you know, just a few years after Joy Division had ceased, you know, their style of music, I really do believe very much to be influenced by Joy Division, a sort of post-rock, post-punk kind of format that is at times very ethereal. So I'm going to play for you the song. I put it back here getting some glare, but anyway, I'm going to play the song for you, "The Fatal Impact." I don't know if you can hear what I'm talking about, that I'm not exactly sure about the sound quality of this pressing, but it is a really, really good album. Glad that I have that now in my collection. So that's what I picked up while I was on my trip in Columbia, Missouri. Now I want to go over the contest entrants that I have so far to my contest, which is going to end at the end of the day this Saturday, which is what, August 6th, I think. But it's, you know, this Saturday. And so the respondents I have, we have Rachel from Rachel's Ghost. I have yours, Mike from PC31, the Vinyl Policeman. I have one from Christian, the CGC Vinyl guy. I have one from Speaker's Corner. I have one from Glenn Kelway from The Basement. I have one from Hip Hops, which, oh shoot, I thought I wrote down his name. It took me I think his name is Danny. It's because it's been difficult for me to hear. He says his name so fast at the start of his video. Anyway, I have one from Steve Carlson. And I have one from Jack's Tracks Contests. And I have one from Chris at Record Talk. And which I spelled that wrong, geez. I have one from Block's Sonic Wafers. I have one from Eddie's Physical Media. And I have one from Guz69, who's down in Brazil. So those are the entries I have at this time, at the time I am recording this video. If you have submitted one and I didn't read your name, then you need to let me know that you did by leaving a comment on the contest that you have submitted one. If you just made a mention that, happy birthday or something like that, and you did not specifically say, I have posted a video, then I haven't looked at your channel, because my presumption is thank you very much for saying happy birthday, etc. But there was no indication to me that you created a video. So if I missed you, you need to please let me know so I can include you in that. And I don't think I'm going to do a book mention at the end of this video like I have been doing from time to time. So we'll call it a day there. Remember, you can find me on Instagram as NewsDude76. That's NEWZDUDE76. And as always, remember to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.